Greetings and welcome back to the Asha Cerise Show. I am your host, Asha Cerise, and this is where culture meets coaching, where healing meets headlines, and where we utilize alchemy to transmute gossip into growth. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do so now. Go on over to YouTube if you're watching this from any other platform other than YouTube, or if you're watching from YouTube and you just so happen to stumble upon my show, make sure you are subscribed and make sure your notifications are on, because as you can see, this is a late night pop-up show. Every weeknight we're coming here with trending topics, celebrity news, and hot topics around love, self-love, healing, self-discovery, intentional dating. And we're taking what's going on in the news, what the trending topics are, what's going on in the blogs, and we're learning the lessons from them. So we're not just consuming the tea, we're actually benefiting from it. So make sure you are subscribed. Again, I'm Asha Cerise, certified life coach, dream doula, supporting you with birthing your ideas into reality, and event curator. So this is a special episode, y'all. This is a very special episode because guess what episode it is? Episode 50. Like we are we have arrived. 50 episodes of anything is a big deal to me, especially as being a solo podcaster. And out of those 50 episodes, I've talked for a minimum. I think there were 2 episodes that might have been like 5 or 10 minutes less than an hour, not even quite 10 minutes. Maybe 12 minutes. 12 minutes top. I think I did a 48-minute episode and a 55-minute episode or something like that, 59 minutes. So an hour plus, because I've had episodes that has been an hour, 15 minutes. Might have been, I think I've had a show that was over 2 hours, but an average of at least an hour of me just yapping, talking, teaching, educating, having fun, sitting here talking my shit. And out of those 50 episodes, I've only had 2 guests so far. So it was not my intention to even have any guests, but it just so happened to be that way. We had, I can't even remember his name. Shout out to you. Sorry, you know who you are. But I'm going to be reaching back out to, I said I would invite him back to be on an episode of, actually, he just arrived. Isn't that something? I knew your name was Doctor. I was just talking about you, Dr. Gary Whitaker on Instagram. I was just saying how this is episode 50 and only had 2 guests in this time. And then you just popped up. Hello. That sure was you. Um, so we had Dr. Gary Whitaker on when we were discussing Black men falling in love abroad. If you want to go back and check that episode out, and definitely going to be inviting him back to an episode of Connections and Conversations soon, hopefully in the month of April. I did summons you, right? Ooh, that lets me know that I'm in good manifestation mode right now. Things that I'm saying is coming to fruition very quickly. I can call in what I want. So thank you to the Most High, to my ancestors, and to the universe for hearing what I have to say. I'm going to speak all positivity into my life because I see that my words are very powerful. We also had my cousin Janae last Friday, who was an impromptu guest because I was on location. I was there vending with her at the Underground in Atlanta, and I asked her if she would like to join me, and she did. So we've had 2 guests, and that set the tone for the month of April. I do want to start having guests on the show. So if you are interested in being a guest, you make sure that you hit me up, because I have a few people in mind that I'll be reaching out to. But if you want to be a guest on the show, whether it's the Asha Cerise Show or Connections and Conversation, email me at ashacerise@gmail.com. If you have particular specific topics that you want to discuss, put that in the email. Or if you want to leave it up to me to come up with a topic, because I'm going to do that anyway. But if there's something specific you want to talk about, Include that in the email. Include who you are and what you do, because I will also interview you if you're on the show. So hit me up if you want to be on the platforms. It's going up. Don't think it's not going to be up, because it's up. Things are happening right now. So hit me up if you want to be a guest on either of my shows, and we will set a date. But episode 50, we are here. Happy April. I have not updated my calendar yet. Don't look at that. I've been out the house all day. I will update my calendar. None of y'all business anyway. If you see that the month of March is still on there, don't worry about that. But we're going to make a toast to a happy new month of April. New beginnings. We're calling in abundance and authenticity and love and blessings and aligned opportunities and genuine connections and meaningful conversations and love from others, love of self, peace of mind, sound minds, great health, and just beautiful opportunities that come with money, with the harm of none and good of all. We're going to say that. And cheers to a wonderful episode 50 and beyond. Cheers, y'all. I'm drinking berry punch. That's the drink of the night. That's a gulpable drink. Shout out to Mercedes Black with a Q _ Coco 12 on Instagram. Cheers. So it's April. It's a new month. And, you know, we celebrating Black history all throughout the year. So there'll be times where I bring up some Black history. We celebrated Black History Month, of course, with a Black History fact every day of the month. Literally, I was live every day in the month of February. We switched it to a weeknight show in March, which was Women's History Month. And we talked about a woman we spotlighted a woman every day of the month. We actually spotlighted all Black women in the month of March, except for yesterday when I spotlighted Selena. And I still say she got some Black African roots. If you see her, if you saw the way she was shaped, she got some African blood. She was Mexican American, and everybody got a little Black in them. We all start from Black. So we celebrated women all March long. And I want to switch gears a little bit in the month of April. I was looking to see what awareness months were going on in the month of April. What should we focus on? And there was a few things that are spotlighted in the month of April, but this one resonated with me the most. And I think that it is very important for me to discuss, especially as a life coach and as someone who deals with this because I'm a human being. But we are going to be spotlighting National Stress Awareness Month all April, all month long. We're going to be talking about stress, what it looks like, how it manifests, and giving you some tips on how to manage stress. Because, baby, stress is a silent or not so silent killer. And in our community, we do not have the luxury of being stressed all the time. So we need to go ahead and talk about it and talk about ways to manage it. So today, because this is the first day of the month and it is the first day of National Stress Awareness Month, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the origin of this awareness spotlight. So it was actually first recognized in 1992. Why I'm just hearing about it in 2025, I don't know. Have y'all heard about it? Let me know. It's actually been observed annually ever since. It was created by healthcare professionals and mental health advocates to highlight the impact of stress on our well-being. Now, I was a nurse from 2009 to 2019, practicing nurse. I was licensed longer than that. I let my license expire. We'll talk about that on another day. I can get it back if I want to. Don't want it right now. Anyway, for someone who was a nurse for over a decade, why didn't I know about National Stress Awareness Month? Why wasn't it celebrated? Because being a nurse is very stressful in itself. And as a healthcare professional, you would think that that would be something that we put more attention into. It wasn't done. Anyway, back to the facts. The goal is to educate people on how stress affects mental, emotional, and physical health, while also offering strategies to manage it, because that's exactly what we're going to be doing this month. Stress can affect not only the body, not only the mind, but the body. I always talk about how we as humans, but especially as Black women, I'm going to say, and Black men, let's just be real, we do not have the luxury of being able to hold on to this stress like we've been doing. When we stress, a lot of us repress it, we push it down, we suppress it, we put it on the back burner, we try to ignore it, we try to mask it, we try to handle everything, we try to keep the weight of the world on our shoulders, we try to handle everybody's stuff, multitask, be the strong one, hold space for people, do all the things, take care of business, handle it, balance it, all of this stuff. And we often do it alone. We often do it without the help of others, because we talked about this last month and last week. A lot of us have a problem with asking for help and allowing it. I'm on my journey of asking for help, whether it's just for a simple thing like, hey, you come pick this up for me, or whether it's, hey, I need this because I'm lacking this in that area. Can you help? Or if somebody's offering the help, not feeling bad for accepting it. So that's something that a lot of us struggle with. And a lot of us want to handle everything and be a superhero. And we need to take the motherfucking cape off and fling that motherfucker across the room, or throw it away, or burn it. But chronic stress can cause high blood pressure. It can cause heart disease, which I believe is the #1 killer for at least Black women, maybe Black people, and a weakened immune system. I was telling somebody the other day that stress and fear are two powerful entities that will leave you susceptible to physical ailments. They're going to manifest into sickness and physical ailments eventually. And I was telling them that during the height of the pandemic, I didn't get COVID all of 2020. And mind you, I was in the house. I was quarantined. The only time I would leave the house was to go to the grocery store and come back. There were few things that I would leave the house for. But didn't get it most of 2021, traveled to Vegas in maybe May of 2021, didn't get it. Most of the summer of 2021, didn't get it. July of 2021 is when me and my mom's birthdays are both in July, a week apart. Hers is the 19th, mine is the 26th. We went out a couple of times during that time. We went and celebrated at a club that we like, that has like both of our age groups that have a good time there. DJ's great. It's nice. Atlanta people was outside. Wasn't nobody really quarantining but us, I think. So we were around a lot of people who were also outside, and we had a good time. And I don't think we felt symptoms immediately, but I remember specifically that around that time there was a serial killer on the loose in Atlanta. It was a horrific incident that occurred. Tragic. Trigger warning for anybody that is sensitive to this type of talk. But there was a very graphic crime committed at Piedmont Park from this serial killer that was on the loose. The way he handled this woman, he murdered her and her dog, but like there were graphic details attached to this. If you want to know more, you go look up the woman and the dog at Piedmont Park in summer of 2021 for more details. But when I heard that, I was very disturbed. And there were a lot of other things going on in the news around that time. And I started to feel stress and I started to feel fear. Shortly after feeling those two entities, I got sick with COVID. And I just feel like we have to really be careful with, it starts with your mind, of course, but just stressing out and internalizing stress is going to manifest into some type of sickness or some type of um, physical ailment. We can't do it. So we're going to be talking all month about ways to combat stress and manage stress. Whew. So if you all suffer from stress, or if you're holding on to something, I'm going to just say this right now. I always say stress doesn't pay any bills, because a lot of times people are stressing about finances is one of the number one causes of stress. I know it. It's not easy going through financial struggles, and it does make you feel stressed and worried, wondering how you're going to handle things, how you're going to balance things. Of course, stress comes from things like toxic ass relationships that you need to cut off. If it's outside of your control, then literally you have to surrender, and you cannot allow things that are out of your control to control you, and go into this rabbit hole or whirlwind of stress and worry, because stress and worry cannot be it can't be turned in at the bank. It's not going to bring you any blessings. It's not going to fix whatever your problems are in relationships that you have. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, you're so stressed, let me treat you right. If they're not treating you right, they're not treating you. So figure out whatever the root is of your stress. If it's out of your control, then surrender to it and work on a solution. If it is within your control, you have the power to make some things happen, make some changes happen. So I'm not going to get too deep into it today, but that is what we're going to be focusing on in the month of April. All right. So we'll talk about stress management strategies. We're going to be discussing setting healthy boundaries. Y'all know I love to talk about that. We're going to talk about identifying toxic stress triggers, and talking about ways to protect your peace. So we'll talk about that throughout the month. So let's get into these topics, y'all. Thank you for those of you who are pulling up live. I appreciate you again. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Go on over to YouTube. Oh, and that's another thing. So I told y'all yesterday, we set a milestone goal last month of reaching 200 subscribers by April 1st. Yesterday we had like 203 or 204 by last night's episode. And today we have 209. So I said we were going to set a new intention for April. So April has 30 days. Let's see. What I want to do. So let's see. I said we got 209 right now. So we have 91 until we get to 300. That would be an average of like 3 a day. So we're going to set the milestone for a minimum of 300 subscribers by April. I think we're gonna keep it cute. We're going to I think that's a reasonable goal. I feel like we could do more, but I'm going to set the intention for us to have at least 300 subscribers on this channel by May 1st. So if you're seeing this and you haven't subscribed, come on over and do so now. If you're seeing this and you are subscribed, go ahead and share it to some friends of yours. Let them know that we're going to be talking about stress management all the month of April. We're going to be talking about these hot topics. And look around on my page, on my channel. There's other great content on there, and there's more coming soon. I promise y'all. It's going to be nice. So you want to be one of the early subscribers, because there's perks to this. And I also told y'all that I was going to update my website by April 1st, which I did. Yesterday I told y'all my website is updated. There's still a few changes, few things that I'm working on, but go on over to ashacerise.com and look around, and we'll talk about that more a little bit later. But I just wanted to let y'all know, when I tell y'all, when I set my intentions, when I tell y'all the things that I'm going to be doing, I do my best to keep my word. So we did keep our word and we got things done. So kudos to that. So we're going to get into these topics. So the first topic I saw on my timeline that Miss Karlie Redd from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is now getting a divorce from her. I don't know if the divorce is already final. Let me go look. But she's, let's see. She already got divorced, I believe, from her husband or ex-husband. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Teleau. I don't know. T. Belton. I guess he also goes by T. Da Vinci. And, you know, I have been watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta this season. I stopped watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta for a while because, you know, when we were younger, the OG cast with Scrappy, Erica, Jocelyn, Stevie J, Mimi, K. Michelle, Karlie Redd. It was a different era, you know. Toxic reality shows were in. As you get older, they're not as appealing, but sometimes I watch it because it's just something to watch. So I have been watching this season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. It's a lot of new cast members, of course. Spice and Lil Zane and his wife. Yandy and Mendices, of course. They've been on for several seasons coming from New York. Kirk and Rashida, they've been on for a while. And Bambi and her new man, who got into it with Lil Zane a couple of episodes ago. I was trying to find this article on a different site, but I'm not seeing it. Oh, there it is. So, yeah, so I've been keeping up, and I have been watching. Y'all know I did a show last month about Karlie Redd's stipulations from her man and her friends when she got upset about Bambi reaching out to her then fiance, the same man that she's divorcing now, about helping him to plan Karlie Redd's birthday trip. She said she don't want nobody reaching out to her man. She don't want nobody calling her man. She don't want nobody talking to him outside of her, even if it's a plan for her birthday or for any reason. She said even if she got into a car accident, she don't want nobody calling her man. So she's that type of woman. Those are her rules for her relationship. She don't play no games. But I gave my opinion about that last month, but just based on some of the things that I'm reading in the blogs about their relationship, according to these affidavits for arrest, it looks like he was accused of some domestic violence, and it says that he may have punched Karlie Redd in the chin. Again, excuse me, trigger warning for anyone who's sensitive to domestic violence. But it looks as if he was accused of punching her in her face, her chin. And that happened in February. He was arrested and charged with simple battery, family violence back in February. Punched Karlie in the chin with a closed fist and threw her 2 phones on the ground. And so there was a temporary protection order granted March 13th. And temporary spousal support of $18,537.50 per month beginning March 15th, 2025 and continuing on the 15th day of each month thereafter. So yeah. They were not married long. They just got engaged June of 2024 on Love and Hip Hop. It said that they eloped. They got married privately. I don't know if they later had a wedding ceremony, reception, or what. We haven't seen that yet. But she did get engaged, married, and divorced in less than a year And for her to be granted over $18,000 a month in spousal support, that is a lot. I don't know. Uh, domestic violence is not cool. I don't know what happened on that end. I'm never going to support that. Not really talking about that on this particular segment, but I will talk about it because, I will, I'm a domestic violence survivor and advocate. I think I don't want to so much talk about the actions per se, but it makes me think back to what she said about not wanting her friends to talk to her man outside of her or reach out or whatever. I often talk about having a village or a wise counsel when it comes to marriage and relationships. And this is one of the reasons why I feel as if, when you have too much of a secretive marriage, I know old school, traditional ways of thinking and ways of doing things within a relationship, and especially a marriage, is what happens in here stays in here. You don't want to tell your business. You want to keep things private. You want to handle things in-house. I understand that, and I agree with that sometimes about specific things. There are certain things that are personal that should remain between husband and wife. And there are certain things that I feel like people start to get a little bit too private and too isolated away from loved ones and family and friends and support system and the village that I feel that you should create when you enter into a union. Um, I think that a lot of marital problems could be solved in a healthier way if there was a trusted circle, a trusted village that is given the honor to hold space and support you when you have times of need in your marriage. Now, that's not to say every argument you get get into that you reaching out to folks, telling all your business. That's not to say every time you get mad, you get on the phone and start talking ish. That's not to say that every disagreement requires a third party, but I gotta drink, y'all, because I've been outside in the pollen all day. Um, but I do feel like certain situations warrant other people to come in and to mediate or advocate or just calm the situation down. And I just think it's important, and that circle of trusted friends or that village or that wise counsel is hand selected by you, and it should be selected. You should be selecting people that you trust, that are rooting for you and your marriage, rooting for you individually and rooting for the success of your marriage. People who have experienced life or the same similar situations that you've experienced, people that you respect, not just trust, but actually respect, somebody that is in a position to correct you with love, redirect the situation, and people who can talk you down or calm you down when needed. And it should be people who both partners can reach out to when needed, not one-sided. So I think people who can be in that trusted circle, if you have a pastor that you trust, or whoever handled your premarital counseling, or whoever handles your marital counseling, if you continue to do that together, someone in the wellness space, a therapist, a pastor, a mentor, a counselor, a coach, someone like that. And then, of course, your elders. So somebody's grandmama, somebody's grandfather. These are people that are not just old, but they're also wise. They've been through things. They've managed to overcome things. They don't necessarily have to have been in a successful marriage. Maybe they learned from a divorce that they went through, or just life, or, whatever. But a wise elder, or two or three or four. And then, when you get to the parents, sometimes you don't always want to get your parents in your business because they have a little bit more sensitivities to what you're going through. They're going to be a little biased. Maybe they are not equipped to handle some of the things that you're talking about, or maybe they are. It's to your discretion. But someone in the generation of a parent, whether that's an aunt or uncle or a godparent or someone like that. Someone who's been through some things, that are rooting for you, that are supporting you, that type of level. And then your peers, whether that is, again, sometimes siblings can handle it. Maybe it's cousins. Maybe it is, close friends, people that can be trusted with the information, people that are not just going to jump to wanting to just be one-sided with the conflict resolution, someone who can handle hearing what's going on, and not just anybody, people that really qualify for the position of being in your trusted village or trusted circle. And then, of course, you know, whoever else you feel like you want to put in the mix. And I think that sometimes we feel like we have to keep everything to ourselves so much in these relationships that you go through things, and then certain things you feel shame about or embarrassment, or you try to hide it, or you feel like you got to handle it on your own, and not wanting anybody else to know about it, and then things hit the fan. So, not saying that their domestic violence issue that occurred would not have happened had they had a village, but maybe it wouldn't have. Because do we know if this is the first time or the only time? We don't know. But let's say Karlie started feeling like her husband was getting more aggressive during arguments. And she say, look, we need to call in our pastor, or we need to talk to your uncle or whoever. Maybe she had the conversation with him, or maybe she could reach out to one of them. Hey, Unc, this is what's going on. I'm getting a little nervous. Hubby is over here. We've been going through some challenges in our marriage, and he's getting a little aggressive with each one. I'm afraid that he might get violent one day, or I'm afraid that he will cross the line. I need you to talk to him, or I need to set up a time where we can talk. Or maybe Karlie, not blaming the victim at all, or the person that experienced the abuse, but maybe earlier on in the relationship, maybe she is handling conflict resolution in a way that is not being well received by her husband, or pushing certain buttons, hitting below the belt. Again, not saying that deserves any type of retaliation with physical violence. I'm just saying, like, early on, if you're starting to see these issues, then hey, he can hit up Bambi if she was the type of friend that would allow that trusted circle, that village. Look, Bam, me and Karlie, we going through some things. We having some tough times. She's really testing my patience a lot. I want our marriage to work. I want us to get along. I want us to have better conflict resolution. But every time we talk, she talking about my mama. She talking about, this and that. And these are just things that I'm not equipped to handle. So can you talk to your girl? Or can we set up a time where we can talk, and maybe you can mediate the conversation? Because when I'm saying it to her, she's not hearing me. Maybe she can hear it from you. So I just feel that these are the things that we need to do if we want our relationships to be successful. It's not just about trying to handle everything on our own and trying to front like we got it all together in public when we're going through hell and back. Because if you really care about your relationship and you want to make it work, there is power in inviting certain people in to support you on that journey. Shout out to Zakia_X3, my cousin. Y'all go follow her, subscribe to her channel as well. And you're feeling the message, you picking up what I'm putting down. But yes, I definitely, that's my personal recommendation. I always go back to my own marriage, and a lot of it, like, there's a video right now where I did an interview and I'm telling certain things that I went through in my marriage. Just a small snippet of a big picture of things that I went through in my marriage. You could check that out. I posted it on my under posts on my YouTube channel. People are saying, a lot of people were saying, where was your family? Where were your parents? I get that that's the first reaction, because that probably would be mine too if I heard my story from the third party. But a lot of it was hidden. A lot of the things that I went through or that I did or decisions that I made with my ex-husband, didn't nobody damn know. I wasn't telling them, I wasn't sharing with them, I wasn't opening my relationship up to anybody. The only when there was severe issues going on, the only person that I opened up to share that with was my best friend at the time, and she was going through the exact same thing. So she, we get mad about each other. Girl, you going through that? Girl, you going through that? And we're not even able to be angry about our own situations more than we're mad at, what they're going through. Thank you. Thank you. So at the time, I felt like I didn't want to burden family with my problems, especially if I wasn't ready to leave the relationship. It's like, what am I telling people for? And then I'm going to stay with it. And then I've involved them and changed their perception of him. But even that thinking is toxic because your family is going to love you regardless. I do feel like you shouldn't just be constantly stressing your family out if you're going to keep tolerating the same shit. But if you have somebody that you can confide in and that you can let know if something's going on, they may be able to support you more than what you think. We often don't want to involve our family members because we don't want them to get themselves in trouble trying to protect us or trying to fight for us. But maybe they don't need to protect us or fight for us. Maybe they just need to talk to us to open our eyes. And a lot of times you're blinded by love and can't nobody tell you shit. But eventually those talks are going to resonate. And if they don't at the time, you'll look back at it and be like, damn, they were trying to tell me this. They were trying to, speak this life into me and speak some sense into me. I didn't get it then, but I get it now and I appreciate it. But I always say that a lot of the things that me and my ex went through, I honestly feel like if um if we were more transparent and if we had better relationships with each other's family and had more of some type of support system that could have worked with us through some of our issues. Like there were some certain things I just felt like there was who he no one that I felt like I could just call and pick up the phone and talk to about what was going on that he would respect enough that could check him. But then I later found out once it was too late, like, damn, I could have reached out to this big cousin or I could have talked to his dad about these things. But the people who was around in the circle, like he wouldn't have respected them enough to allow them to correct him. And then the people on my end, I wasn't sharing what was going on. So even if he did respect them or would have listened to them, they didn't know. So I just think that a lot of the things that we went through, if we had a wise counsel or a village of trusted people in our circle, could have been avoided. So some of that extra secretive shit in these relationships are the detriment to the relationship. But again, back to Karlie Redd. She got engaged in June of 2024. And so they again were married less than a year. And that number that he's got to pay every 15th of the month, $18,537.50. And he's also been ordered to stay away from her and to have no contact with her. So I tell y'all all the time too, Karlie Redd she's one of those relationship girlies. She's had several relationships throughout love and hip hop. Her and Sierra, they be collecting them rings. They get them rings, honey. But Karlie Redd is in her 50s. I think this guy might be in his 30s. And I just feel that she needs to figure out what the hell she want to do. Because what's really going on? They're where they're filming or where the show is now, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. They film maybe a year or several months ahead of time. She was talking about having this man's child, doing in vitro, going through the steps of fertility treatments, not drinking, preparing her body to have a whole child. where did this man even come from? Because she was just in a relationship with a guy from, was it 1550 or 1501, whatever the label was that Erica Banks was on, and Meg the Stallion was on with Carl Crawford. She was just in a relationship with one of the co-founders of that label last year, and then she's with this guy, and that's her business if she want to hop into relationship after relationship. But where is the time to vet? Y'all gonna hear me say that every time. Are you vetting properly? Both of them. Did he vet her properly to decide that you want to be with a woman that's probably 15 plus your senior, and you want to go ahead and start a family with her, that she has to go through the fertility treatments and do that? And that's fine. If you like it, I love it, because women, we have no bounds. If we can, as long as we have a cycle, we can have a child. And some people have had pregnancies after the cycle. So if she wanted to start over, she has a grown daughter and she has a granddaughter. If she wants to start over and have children for her man, that's her business. But for them to be moving so rapidly, you meet, you all of a sudden you're in a relationship, you on the show, we engage, boom, we getting married, we elope, we starting a family, and now we fighting and we divorce, and now you paying me damn near $20,000 a month. What is going on? When was the time to get to know each other? When was the time to just calm down, see if we are compatible with each other, not just a vibe, not just it looks good, it sounds good. I don't know. But you know how it goes. Of course, there's the honeymoon phase. So everything gonna seem good in the beginning. Everything is lovely. Woo! You in love. You're attracted to each other. You are having great sex. Everything is great. All of that. But you have to be able to vet past that, and you have to be able to see people in all of their seasons. Let me see how you are when you're mad. Let me see how you are when you stressed. Speaking of stress, let me see how you are when you emotional, when you sad, when you're hungry, when you financially struggling, whatever. Not that you want somebody to be going through these things, but like, let me see you in other phases of your life. Not just when you're happy and we just met and everything is all bliss. Because everything is great, the love is intense, and the partner seems perfect in the beginning. But then after a while, that little honeymoon phase starts to dwindle down, the tension start building up, you start getting small arguments. Because last episode, which was yesterday, I think, Karlie got confronted about something that happened in the past by Lil Zane's wife. She confronted her about offering Lil Zane her hotel key back in the day. And she's doing this, Lil Zane's wife is doing this in front of Karlie Redd's new husband. So he's got to listen to this. He didn't trip about it. He was just like, well, that happened in the past. What's the big deal? But then later that night, all of a sudden they had this big blow up argument, and then he left. So that was the cliffhanger till next week. So what's happening to the point where they were arguing so loud that I think Jock's wife Kendra heard them from the hallway. But during those times where you start seeing signs of controlling behavior, jealousy, emotional manipulation, if you're dealing with an abuser, some of those things start happening. I know with me, when I dealt with an abusive relationship, it started off like, and trigger warning, it started off with just little arguments here and there, disagreements. Then the arguments started to get a little louder. Like, you talking real loud right now. And then it started to get like a little aggressive. Like, we laying on the floor, watching movies. We turn the TV off. We decide we're gonna lay on the floor. We get into a little argument. You piss me off. I'm getting ready. I think I grabbed the blanket to walk into the bedroom, and he yanked the blanket back, like, don't pull no blanket off on me, and kind of flinched at me. And I'm like, damn, is it that deep? And so these are the progressive signs of the aggression and the tension. It started with that, and then you're intimidating me and all of that. So then after a while, then it became physical. So and then it just gets worse after that. But then you can, sometimes abusers apologize and promise to change, and the cycle repeats itself, because It's not that simple. It's not like, oh, I hit you and then I'm sorry and it never happens again. It's usually a back and forth thing. And then you're going to believe in that, and hopefully this was a one and done situation for Karlie and that it wasn't something that has happened before. But for him to punch her, with a closed fist, it sounds like something that escalated to that. So anyway, I wish them well. I hope that that was a one and done situation. I hope that maybe it was, I'm not going to accuse her of lying, but I was going to say maybe it was a little extra exaggerated. I don't know. Um, I don't know, but I just wish them well. I hope she has healing. I don't know what happened with the, apparently there was no prenup if he's paying 50, if he's paying $18,000 a month, because spousal support, you know, you pretty much required to help the person maintain the lifestyle that they have with you. I don't know how long theirs lasts. I know somebody that was paying spousal support and had to pay it for 5 years or until that person remarried. So apparently he didn't have a prenup, or maybe he had a prenup that had a clause in it. If they broke up from abuse, then he would have to pay. Who knows? But some people think that she had a payday when it comes to getting married to him and now being able to get the bag. I saw some of the comments accusing her of possibly doing this purposely so that she can get the spousal support. And I hope that that was not a hidden motive there. I would hope that she would not go through great lengths to do that, because really when you have her status, and I'm not counting her pockets, but I'm pretty sure $18,000 a month can come by easy to her with brand deals, with appearances, or whatever else that she does, and her pay from Love and Hip Hop. I hope that she didn't take herself through all of that just for $18,000 a month. We will never know, I guess. But anyway, this next topic I wanted to talk about last night, but we ran out of time. So let's not run out of time tonight. So I told you I've been watching Real Housewives of Atlanta. I've been watching it since the first season. And it's kind of giving Love and Hip Hop this season. Most of the OGs are gone off of the show, or they're friends of the show. The only real OG on there right now is Kenya Moore, and she may or may not be a cast member after next week's episode. They've been hinting at her either being suspended or fired. So I'm not sure where that's going to go. Cynthia is a friend to the show this season. And then Porsha, she's one of the OGs. Not OGs, but she like one of the G's of Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's back on there now too. But Drew Sidora, she's been on for a few seasons as well. Her and her husband, soon to be ex-husband or ex-husband, I don't know what status they are at this moment, Ralph Pittman. On the show, they've been going through a divorce, and the judge pretty much granted them a solution. She basically summons him to the basement. So he's able to maintain residency in their shared marital home, but he has to stay in the basement. So if he comes upstairs and mixes and mingles within the house, then he is contempt of the agreement. But he in the basement, and he seems like he's enjoying it. He's making content down there. He did a Cribs ATL spoof showing off the basement, shaking up martinis, shaken not stirred behind the bar, doing the most. So they're divorcing. They have children together. They have two together, and then they have Drew Sidora's son, who she wanted Ralph to adopt and change his last name. I don't know if he went through with the adoption. I know for sure he didn't give him the last name because he felt like that would have been disrespectful to her son's father, because he did want to be in the son's life. So I don't know if they went through with the adoption or not. But he's very active in all three of the children's lives. And I don't know. I want to say that they are doing a mature thing by being amicable in the divorce and coming to an agreement that works for both of them, and they're being civilized about it for the children. But honestly, I feel like they got some little pettiness going on between them, and it's not just Ralph. Drew seems like she's a little petty with him as well. And it just seems like they get a kick out of just the tension, the dynamics that they have. Is kind of strange. Ralph been suspect. He was back, back in the previous seasons when they first got on the show. He had dipped out and was gone for days or something, and she was trying to figure out where he went, and then he randomly said he went to Orlando on a regular random day. So it's been some weird behavior going on with him, like suspicious behavior. And she's accused him of being a narcissist. Y'all know I did a show last month about narcissism. Like, are there that many narcissists, or is this a buzzword? We kind of came to the conclusion that it's a buzzword, and trust me, I use the word too, because I really do feel like I was talking to a narcissist based on the narcissist criteria. As a healthcare professional, I've done my research on it, and this person, I can't diagnose them, but I damn sure can read. And I know that he checked off lots of the boxes, and it requires many of the things to be checked off in order to be considered a diagnosed person with narcissistic personality disorder. So Drew Sidora stated that she feels like Ralph is a narcissist, and he called her out about it. He said that she keeps sending him articles about him being a narcissist, and he apologized to her for whatever, I don't know, for making her feel that way or whatever the apology was for. And then he said, narcissists aren't capable of apologizing. So I don't know. But when she said that he was a narcissist, the producer asked her why she thinks that, and she pulled out her phone to look up the definition. So in her case, it is seemingly coming off as you spewing that out as a buzzword, because you don't even really know what it means. But I understand what she's saying. He exhibits narcissistic tendencies, traits, and characteristics. So we do have to be careful when it comes to labeling everybody as a narcissist. That was what that show was about. If you go under my live tab on YouTube and you search for that episode, I talk about different types of abuse that people put you through, so that instead of us labeling everybody as a narcissist, let's call out the specific type of abuse. Let's call a spade a spade. Because now narcissism doesn't hold as much weight because so many people are throwing that word out. Let's call these people what they really are. Oh, you're this, you're that, you're exhibiting these behaviors. So I'll say that. But I feel like both of them are a little passive aggressive and petty with each other. I do think that they still have some feelings, but that's neither here nor there. But, some exes do struggle to let go when they're going through divorce, because that's something that they're used to. They're comfortable with each other, and that's a big deal to go separate ways. So, just struggling to let go. They still crave control over each other's lives. She likes the fact that he's got to stay in that basement. And, whatever else they both can control of each other, I think they're still exercising that. Of course, the fear of the unknown, because even if the relationship is bad, the idea of moving on is scary. You're starting all over. You don't know what this person's life is going to be. And then, of course, with kids being involved, what is that going to look like for them? With them doing the divorce the way they're doing it, the kids still have both of their parents under the same roof. It's a different dynamic than what it's always been. Mommy and daddy are not in the bedroom together. They're not at breakfast together, cooking and doing all the things. But you can go in the basement and see your dad. You can be up here with mom. We go outside. We can play games together. But it's definitely different. And then some couples be using the kids as leverage and pawns. Staying entangled because they don't want to disrupt the children's lives, even though the tension is harming them. So between them, I think that they're doing a good job at keeping the tension down in front of the children. But kids know. Kids pick up energy. Kids see things. But as long as it's not toxic and arguing and being aggressive towards each other, then I think they're doing a fairly good job. On last week's episode, or this past Sunday's episode, Ralph did mention that one of their children, I think maybe the older son, showed him something about them getting a divorce on the internet. So they've been avoiding the conversation. And I believe Drew Sidora said that the judge told them not to talk about it with the kids just yet. So we'll see how that unfolds. So the other issue with Drew Sidora this season on The Real Housewives of Atlanta that I want to talk about, she's now all of a sudden, because Drew Sidora has been a singer and an actress, most popularly known as far as I'm concerned. She's most well known for playing herself on The Game. She was cheating. Derwin had cheated on Melanie, aka Med School, with Drew Sidora, and there was a big issue about it. So she's been an actress, been singing, but it just doesn't seem like her singing career has really taken off. So now all of a sudden, Dennis McKinley, aka Porsha Williams' baby daddy, her daughter Pilar, or PJ's father, he's known for having clubs. I think he owns Crew, the Crew nightclub. I don't know if he owns all of them or if he just has a franchise. He has I think a hot dog stand, popular hot dog restaurant, and he has liquor. He did do like a children's song album or children's album, but I didn't know he was really into music like that. But somehow him and Drew Sidora have teamed up. He's executive producing a project with her, and apparently nobody ran it by Porsha. Do y'all think that either of them were required to run it by Porsha? I think Drew Sidora, since she's in Porsha's circle, I don't know if they would be considered friends or associates, acquaintances. But she said that she's tried to reach out to Porsha several times to no avail. So I think that she did right. I think that if you're gonna be working with somebody that that you in their face, that you may be at their house or they may be at yours, you working with their child's father, yeah, let me talk to you about it. Girl, I got this project coming out. I'm singing, I'm doing this. Dennis reached out to me. He said that he could help executive produce, or I found out through such and such that he does this, or he has access to this, and he's willing to help me. Can I get your blessing on it? Because this is something that I'm really passionate about, and he's able to help me with this. I think she did right trying to reach out. Why Porsha didn't answer, didn't get back with her, I don't know. Now, Dennis is feeling like, hell, Porsha, your ass then went and got married to this Nigerian man. I didn't see you have all these different weddings, traditional weddings, American weddings, all over the internet. You showing off all these cars you done got. You got my daughter taking pictures with him and holding hands and all the things. He didn't feel like he needed to run anything by her that he's doing in his personal life, because he felt like, shit, you doing you. I'm supporting it, even if I don't like it. Why do I need to run anything by you? Clearly, you've moved on from me. So that's the stance he's on. And I really feel like at this point, he is being petty with it, because he's told her in so many words that, shit, you doing you, I did me. So for whatever reason, Porsha feels like this is very disrespectful. She's saying that it's not necessarily the fact that they're working together or that Dennis is helping Drew Sidora with the music. She, for whatever reason, doesn't want Dennis filming with Drew Sidora. If he's gonna film on Real Housewives of Atlanta, she feels that she wants control over that dynamic, and she wants it only to be with her. So I don't know the real reality TV world dynamics and what that looks like and why she's so passionate about that. But she is the reason why Dennis even has an access to the platform, being that Porsha's been with Bravo and been on Real Housewives of Atlanta for several years. And this is her child's father who she's invited to film on the show. So she's feeling a type of way that he's able to get his ass on the platform, not through her, but through Drew Sidora. And so she's feeling a way about that. She doesn't like it. And she feels like it can potentially cause a rift in their co-parenting relationship. So she is pissed at Drew Sidora, and she is pissed at her baby daddy. And she basically said that if he films with her, that there was going to be a problem. And guess what? He did on Sunday's episode. He filmed with her. He filmed with Drew Sidora in the studio. Drew knows that Porsha has a problem with it. Dennis knows that Porsha has a problem with it. Drew is still trying to emphasize that a conversation needs to be had. She's open to one. Porsha still seems like she's avoiding it or putting it off. Dennis is just like, you initiated. He's not feeling any sense of urgency of talking to Porsha about it. So my question for y'all is, do you think it's wrong to work with a friend's ex, even if it's just business? If you have a friend or an associate or whatever, and their ex is in the same field as you or has an opportunity that can help, do you feel that it's inappropriate to do so if you don't, especially if you don't have your friend's blessing? And as I'm talking about this, it reminds me of Insecure. Y'all know I love me some Insecure. Remember when Issa Rae, or Issa D, Issa's character, Issa D, was in the middle of planning her first big block party. She left her job. She left her job at We Got Y'all, the after school program. She went on her entrepreneurial journey where she really didn't have a plan when she left her job. She was just Ubering or Lyft. She was driving Lyft. And when she got with Nathan, she decided that she wanted to create a place where people can, have a marketplace, have community, have art showcase and artists and performances, because she was inspired when she went to like a movie showing, but it was like far out and not in the hood. She's like, we need something like this in was it Inglewood that they lived in? I think it was Inglewood. But she created the block party and she really worked hard on it. She had to get all the permits. She had to go through the red tape. She had to reach out to artists and have fundraisers to get sponsors. She got someone to support her with the sponsorships, and that woman ended up, go watch Insecure, but she ended up having a baby by Issa's ex, who was the love of her life for real. But she went through so much to have a successful event, the block party. As she's going through this, mind you, she was inspired by Nathan, the guy that she was talking to. As she is going through this, she needed a headliner for the event. The headliner makes or breaks the event. It's going to be what pulls people into the event. It's going to be what gets the sponsors their money. It's going to be the big shebang, the big deal. So Nathan and Issa weren't really talking at the moment, but they were cool. Like, they weren't romantically involved, but they were doing something. They were like figuring it out. Nathan's roommate at the time, Andrew, was, I don't know if they were still roommates at this time, but they started off as roommates when Issa met Nathan. Andrew was dating Issa's best friend, Molly. I hope y'all are keeping up if you've never watched Insecure. Issa and her best friend, Molly, were having some struggles in their friendship. So their best friends, been best friends for years since they were children, but they were not really getting along. They had some tension between them. Molly felt like she needed to set boundaries with Issa. She needed to focus on her relationship more so than her friendship, because she just wasn't feeling Issa. Issa wasn't really feeling Molly, but they still love each other, so they still were trying to support each other. But Issa asked Molly, because Nathan worked for Live Nation, I think it was. He had access to all these artists. So she asked if Molly would ask Andrew to get a particular artist from Live Nation that she was interested in performing. I think it was Vic Staples. So Molly said she would think about it, or she said she would do it, or whatever the initial answer was. But then when she reached back out and Issa followed up with her, she said that she decided she wasn't going to do it. She didn't feel like Issa was reliable, was consistent, was responsible, and she did not want to involve her man. She wanted to protect her man and protect her relationship. So she decided, she made the executive decision that she was not going to ask her man to do Issa any favors. So that was very hurtful for Issa because Molly knew that having a headliner and having this specific headliner was very important to her event. What's up, realists? So Issa was hurt, but she accepted what Molly said for the time being. Issa decided to go around Molly. Molly never knew. Molly and Andrew come to the event, have a good time. Everything is all good. The performances go well. It was a successful event. Once they wrapped up the event and the performances were over and people are just mixing and mingling, it came up that Andrew was the reason why Vic Staples performed. So Molly is like, what did you have to do with it? And Andrew told her, well, yeah, Nathan told me about it, and I just called a couple people and got him to perform. So Issa asked Molly to ask Andrew to get Vic Staples at the performance. Molly said no. Issa went to Nathan, who was Andrew's friend, and asked him to ask Andrew, which he did, and it happened. So Molly was pissed that Issa did not respect her boundaries and went around her to still get to her man, even though she said she wasn't going to ask. But Issa was like, well, you knew how important this was, and you were just going to let my whole event be sabotaged. So I just felt like you said you didn't want to ask, so I asked Nathan. So it became a big thing. They got into an argument. They almost started fighting. Somebody yelled gun, and the whole damn event started. Everybody at the event started running, and it kind of messed Issa's event up from not being deemed as like a violent event. But this situation reminds me of that because if somebody is in the same business, your friend's ex or your friend's partner, and that's something that they can help you with, do you think that that's a boundary that shouldn't be crossed? Do you feel like friends should not do business with people's exes or their men or whatever? Because I don't know, should personal feelings dictate professional opportunities, or should business be business? Let's just say it like that. I personally don't understand why Porsha is so upset about Dennis working with Drew if it's on a professional level, because the rumor mill is saying that they're dating. Now, I think that's crossing the line, especially if you in this woman's face and then you lying about it. What's up? And I wouldn't think that that's appropriate. And maybe it's seeing as though we've seen Porsha's reaction to Shamia having a song out. Porsha also sings. Could it be that she doesn't like that Dennis is pouring into Drew Sidora's singing career when she sings, and she would want him to focus on her? It could be that, or it could be that she knows something about Drew that we don't know, and she just don't feel comfortable with him, with her baby daddy being around him. I don't know. Realist says it depends, and 2 words: circumstances and boundaries. Yeah, I definitely feel like you have to respect people's boundaries for sure. And in those cases, personally, I feel like I would have to just take the L, because I would rather just respect my friend or associate or acquaintance's boundaries versus going behind their back or doing it anyway because I feel like it's beneficial to me, because it's going to be drama anyway. So I'm going to let y'all have that. If you feel like it's a problem, I'll make it another way. So I get I don't necessarily agree with Porsha tripping about it, but for whatever reason, that's her business. I think Drew um, maybe have benefited by just saying, you know what, if you're not willing to talk to Porsha, your own child's mother, and kind of get some resolution with this and make this right, then I don't even want to be involved with the drama or the tension. Yes, sometimes it's not even worth what could come with it. Absolutely. So that's that on that. That is that on that. We're going to wrap it up, y'all. Again, the website is updated. I'm still making a few changes, but everything you need to know about my offers are on my website, ashacerise.com. If you need some healing, some support with healing, let me make this clear. Any healer, coach, counselor, therapist, mentor, pastor, or whatever, if they are claiming to be able to heal you, run. No, I'm just saying, you, the Most High, God, Source, whoever you pray to, and you are responsible for your own healing. We can give you the tools, we can give you the support, we can lend our healing energy, hold space, and all of that. But it's ultimately up to you to heal yourself, and we are there to guide and support you on that journey. So, if you need support with healing, self-love, self-discovery, you need to go ahead and enroll in One Single Step at a Time. 6-week program. It's guided. It comes with weekly coaching, and it comes with a free copy of How to Beat Single. If you feel like you don't need any guidance or coaching right now, you can always just grab the book and do the work on your own. It's an amazing tool to help you on your journey. If you are someone who needs a little bit more love, self-love, pouring into yourself, 5 Ways in 5 Days is my self-love program, teaching you how to incorporate your love languages into your daily acts of self-love and self-care, as well as uncovering any blockages you may have for giving and receiving love. So check that out. It can be done in as little as 5 days, or you have up to 60 days to complete it. And then you can always book a strategy call if you're a business owner, a content creator, an influencer. If you have some great ideas and you just don't know what to do with them, you got some great, amazing, beautiful gifts, and you want to monetize or utilize them, book you a strategy session and we'll get you together. And if you feel like you want to tap in and you just don't know where to begin, where to start, book a discovery call. It's completely free, and it allows me to listen to what it is that you're going through and help you to decide whether or not you need a program, you need a journal, or if you need one-on-one coaching, and we'll figure out the duration. You might want to do weekly coaching, bi-weekly, monthly, or quarterly. It is completely up to you. And the Intentional Love Collective, if you're a hopeful romantic, an intentional dater, single looking for love in 2025, make sure you join the Intentional Love Collective. It is a growing community and database for singles. It allows me to curate events, singles mixers, speed dating events. I got some events coming up for y'all that I'm super excited about. We'll be announcing soon. But it allows me to invite you to events that are tailored and have your preferences, your interests, your values, and your desires in mind. So Intentional Love Collective is now updated on my website. Go take a look at ashacerise.com. Look at every tab. Find out how I can support you on your journey and what I have to offer. And again, I told y'all at the beginning of the episode, and I will say it again, if you have any topics that you would like me to discuss, if you have an interest on being on the show, you can be anywhere in the world as long as you have Wi-Fi. If you want to be a guest on my show, email ashacerise.com. ashacerise@gmail.com. And you can be a guest on the Asha Cerise show, which is what we're here doing, or you can be on a panel of 2 or more people on connections and conversations. So when you email me, make sure you tell me who you are, what you do, and any topics that you feel like you want to discuss, and let me know some available dates, we'll discuss getting you on the show, either of the shows. And if you just have a topic that you want me to discuss, send it to the email. If you have a letter you want to write me so that I can unpack on the show, send it to the email. Whatever it is that you want to tell me in private, send it to the email. But again, thank you for tuning in. We're going to leave you with some journaling prompts today. Yes, I have been on. I've been on for an hour and 16 seconds almost. So let's see. We are talking about stress for the month of April. So we're spotlighting National Stress Awareness Month in the month of April. So my journaling prompt for you is, what are your biggest stress triggers in relationships? What are your biggest stress triggers in relationships? Have you ever ignored red flags in a relationship, and why? Why you ignore that? And let me give you one more. What boundaries do you have in place when it comes to your friendships and your relationships? When it comes to how they intertwine? Karlie Redd says she don't want none of her friends reaching out to her man. What are your boundaries when it comes to your partner and your friends? So again, that's a wrap for tonight's show. Thank you all for tuning in to the Asha Cerise Show. This is episode 50. Big baby, I need y'all to go on ahead and share my page with as many people as you can. It's up. We've set the intention to reach 300 subscribers by the end of the month. I'm hoping and praying and manifesting that it's going to be much more than that, but that is the minimum goal. That's the milestone goal that we're going to reach. So thank you all for tuning in. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I value you. And I hope that you receive some value from my show as well, and my presence and my energy and all of that. I will see y'all. I'm getting ready to go make a few videos on some topics, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night.